What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all so much. I hope you're having a good week so far. Definitely some pretty intense energy with this moon in Scorpio, and it's doing a lot today. It's balsamic, dark moon. Today's like the final cut, if you will. But we're almost pros at this cutting away of old stories as we're also getting ready for a solar eclipse on Friday or Saturday, depending on where you're at in the world. But like we're right on the cusp of that. And it's like there's so much about a new story that's right here in front of us. But like we have to be really secure within ourselves to go through that door and to not keep going through habitual patterns or fixating on things that are of the old story any longer. So today's kind of the final cut. That moon in Scorpio, it's having us go deep. It's intense. Very like a lot of our subconscious, especially with the trine over to Neptune, trying to figure out our spiritual way, our spiritual, like the deepest core of our spiritual belief system with this sun coming to 10 degrees today. It's actually going to come to 11 degrees midday towards the evening. And it's like, yeah, we're having to go and really inwardly figure out where the universe is trying to take us right now and own that intuitive nature. And really with the moon and Mars coming together, it's about cutting things away that are no longer relevant. Like they're almost like toxic cycles or just habitual patterns that we have put ourselves in time and time and time again with people, with Scorpio is merging. Got to figure this stuff out. And even Venus at 21 degrees now coming off the sextile to that Neptune and within 4-degree orb of Pluto. I mean, this is really an important time today, and just the energy that we're feeling as we're coming into a new story of really paying attention to like who we're giving our energy to, who's on the same page. Like, are we merging with energy that's trying to go into the same story, or are we still trying to like merge with energy that's clearly not going to go into the same story that you want to go? And this is about, I think, finding that courage with the moon Mars, especially in Scorpio here, like deep emotional courage to pursue your deepest desires, to pursue the deepest connections in life, and like no more surface level stuff. Like I feel like this next story is of a much deeper, much more spiritually attuned story, especially moon trine Neptune. I mean, talk about like signs are going to be showing up today for sure. And it's about paying attention to those signs and not getting lost in the signs that are trying to have you go backwards into the old story. Like really paying attention to where you're going into the future, because Saturn, of course, is in Aquarius. Like we're trying to move forward here in like a very smart way, even kind of practical with Saturn. But it's like, I mean, have we not at this point with a Saturn direct, like connected enough dots in our life to go into the experiment of our own life, into our individuality? And I think that that's where the doors are opening. And the sun at 10 degrees for most of the day is a manifestation degree for this new story. And then coming to 11 degrees, it's time to get serious. It's time to get critical about what we're cutting away so that we can move into this new adventure of life, and to be open to it, to be excited about it too. That North Node's in Gemini. Like there's exciting changes that can take place, but it's just like getting rid of the stuff that's not exciting, that isn't what you're into anymore. Like really paying attention to stuff from like a deeper soul level, a deeper intuitive level or subconscious level with all these Neptune aspects and this Neptune direct. Still stationed, it's stopped, but those signs, like, and that's very Sagittarius as we're in Sagittarius season. It's like, you know. So this is where it's just stop looking for like some help out in the world to like give you the prod you need in the direction to go. This is just like, go for it. And here I am like kind of giving that prod in the direction, all guru like. But seriously, like look at your own life, look at your personal life and what your deep desires are, and make sure that you're just lining things up for the future that you want to create for yourself and what that story is going to look like. Because if we're still giving a bunch of energy to where we don't feel ultimately guided, to where it doesn't feel like spirit or the universe is trying to open doors up, it can feel really like, it can feel isolated, it can feel lonely, it can feel like we're not getting what we want, or just the powers outside of our control are, taking away our power. And I don't want anybody to feel that way. And the moon's also going to square over to Jupiter. So, and Mars is starting to, really ratchet up on that square to Jupiter. So our beliefs are in a very touchy place today in Sag season. Like, we have to be willing to try new experiments. And even with Uranus here at 11 degrees, it's quincunx the midpoint of the Sun and Mercury, which we're going to see tomorrow before the eclipse. The Sun make that exact quincunx, and Mercury already did. Being willing to like really individuate into your values of the story that you want to create, which it almost involves you changing the belief in your life, like whatever the story is, because we can make up so many stories in our life, like I can't do that, or I'm not good enough for this. And especially with like a Venus in Capricorn, like we can already be super critical on ourselves, and there's like kind of masochistic energy, if you will, with Venus and Pluto coming together, and they're going to be here all month. So it's like we don't want to be so masochistic, and like, I don't know, it's almost like we like the pain at times in life, and this is about like quitting what it is in life that causes you pain, that you choose to do for yourself, and choosing the lighter route, choosing the happier route, the more expansive route, because those doors are there. It's just like you have to kind of try the radical new direction that matches with who you are on the deepest of levels and what your foundation is, and owning it to the fullest extent. And that's what's going to help attract people, beliefs, the right people with the right beliefs. Jupiter and Aquarius square the moon and Mars. But also it's almost like, people could be showing up attacking your beliefs. This is like Jupiter square Mars is very much like, it can feel like there's a lot of tension when it comes to what other people's views or their journey is comparative to yours, and people can project that onto people and be like, no, you're not going the right way, you're not going the right way, instead of worrying so much about which way other people are going. This is just owning your direction and like moving strong, intensely, intuitively for those things that are going to connect you to the story, the life, the abundance that you're looking for, without needing to convince other people. Like, that's very, we can have this Sag energy, Mercury and Sag. Everybody could just know what the way is. And this is like really getting down to the fundamental core of what your way is. And if you are doing that, I don't think you're going to be in some, masochistic place where you're kind of like, where we can beat ourselves up because maybe things aren't showing up. It's almost like just being willing to open up to a pivot or a change or just a little switch up that will be part of a cord getting cut that can open up the next chapter. So there's a little bit of stubborn, like, I already know, my desires are met where they're at. But then it's almost like not believing that more is possible. And I think we want to believe in more. We do want to find hope, but looking for hope that's exciting, that matches your independent truth and your unique value system, and not feeling too isolated or too alienated because others might not feel the same way, but being really open to letting everyone kind of pick their story right now, and you picking yours and owning it in the fullest like way that you possibly can. And that's going to be part of this dark moon. And as we're closing out cycles, and these are scorpionic cycles, and we even have the sun in Antares conjunct today, which is the heart of Scorpio. It's a very bright red star, right in the middle of the constellation Scorpio. It's a beautiful star. It's one of the biggest, and it's one of the biggest out there. It's 500 times the size of our sun, the big red giant. So we can find a lot of light, a lot of power, if we are kind of grabbing a hold of some of our masculine energy and making calls and believing in ourselves and seeing at what we can open up in our story and kind of transforming our values to meet the next story, instead of just staying fixated in what maybe was comfortable a while ago, but is no longer comfortable and like believing that that's just gonna like work if you just keep doing it, right? So being open to change. Yeah. I will say too, Venus and Pluto this month, very interesting for like the relationship to governments here in Capricorn. Like it's getting a it's gonna get a big like look, a big exposure, and like how really we're going through a very toxic relationship with governments right now, and that's kind of getting it's going to get exposed more and more. I don't mean it's going to get exposed like something's going to show up in the news that's going to say, well, the government's been lying to you. It's like, no, you already know that all those things are a lie. And this is just kind of like severing ties with that story, kind of like being your own governance, and not looking for the handouts, because that South Node coming into Scorpio next year with a Pluto return, with just Pluto finishing up in Capricorn, like the governments are going to try and trick people into thinking that they're kind of the sugar daddy, if you will, and that they have the goods and you need them to survive. And that's the polarity here with the North Node in Taurus, is like, you just got to know that you have what you need to survive. And I think that this Moon Mars in Scorpio is helping us get down to the root of what we really need and how to attract that in, and how to link up with the right people that are on the same belief systems. They're kind of going a radical route, but accepting people that are not going a radical route, and what that can mean as it transforms your own value systems and your own sort of like hierarchy of what's going to bring you the best in life, so that you can start in some ways planning, but being open to the pivot of the story as well. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to talk about. Oh, Sterling's game popped up. I let him start playing games on my iPad. Now I get notifications. Unbelievable. That's what I get. Sending you all my best. Hope you have a great day. Pretty intense. Moon finishing up here in Scorpio, making a lot of aspects. It is also gonna sextile Pluto and Venus today. Finding that deep self-worth and value for your story is the transmutation into the next story, and I think it can be really helpful the more you're willing to transform your beliefs to what can expand and grow your life right now, and to stop with any stories in life that we tell ourselves that are too restricting. Like, there's plenty of restrictive forces in the world right now. The last thing we need to do is like restrict ourselves from our happiness and our desires and the things that really are going to bring us joy in life. Like, we kind of got to take our power back, big time there. 5 of Swords upright. I don't know. I feel like we're in like some sort of mental fight just with ourselves. And, there could be some conversations and some fights with other people, but, it definitely has that energy of like, there's just aspects that we have to really understand to bring justice and fairness into our life. And if we're not doing that or realizing that or taking the necessary steps just within our own mind today, like, we can feel like, we're not getting the win that we're looking for, and nobody's happy, and what is happiness? So we really want to focus on how we talk to ourselves in our own head today, and make sure that we're like positive affirmations, if you will. Like, yes, I can open this door because I feel called to it by the universe. And even positive if you've been trying to go through some door in this reality and open up something, and if it's not showing up, being positive and saying, you know what? Maybe there's another way that I can go, and trusting your intuition to take you there and to open up that in your life without, getting upset or thinking that, we can beat ourselves up if we have to make changes because something didn't work out. I think today we just want to be really positive within our own mind, and to not feel too pushed away or lost just within ourselves or with other people. And that's going to show us how strong we are and show us how to attract in what we really want. But we have to believe that we can make changes to get what we want if we need to make changes, or that we can keep kind of being persistent and persevere through hard times, and that eventually a door is going to open. Sending you all my best. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday, and I'll see you for the eclipse mañana. Peace.